Elton Sawyer had some intriguing comments on Austin Dillon's win at Richmond Raceway on Sunday. NASCAR's senior vice president of competition talked with media after the Cookout 400 and was asked if Dillon's victory may be taken away since he crashed Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin. And it's interesting, to say the least, to see what they've got in store for Dillon. Historically, that hasn't been our DNA to take races away, Sawyer said, per Matt Weaver of Sportsnaut. But that's not to say that going forward this wouldn't start to set a precedent, and we have to look at it. NASCAR driver Ryan Vargas posted a video on social media depicting the last lap of a 2010 Xfinity Series race that was identical to what occurred on Sunday. On last lap, the winning driver nudged the first-place car to secure victory. Vargas stated that the driver was punished $25,000, placed on probation, and lost 60 points. Dillon's event differed in that he was 4 car widths away from Logano before driving him into the wall. He then spun out Hamlin to secure the victory. But still, the situation was very alike, and fans are wondering what NASCAR will do. Elton Sawyer later offered more insight on Austin Dillon's triumph. Our sport has been a contact sport for a long time. You always hear, "Where's the line? Did someone cross the line?" I would say the last lap was awful close to the line. We'll take a look at all of the available resources from audio to video, listen to spotters, we'll listen to crew chiefs and drivers, and if anything rises to a level that we feel like we need to penalize, then we'll do that on Tuesday, Sawyer said. Logano walked down to pit road after the race, revved his engine, and performed a burnout in front of the Dillon crew. Sawyer was questioned whether NASCAR would sanction Logano for his behavior. "We'll take, we don't want to make a split-second decision and get it wrong, so we want to make sure we go back, and we'll look at everything that happened on the last lap and post-race and see if any penalties need to be issued," Sawyer said. Dillon defends his conduct, stating that he did all in his power to win. "It's just the rules of the sport, right?" Dillon mentioned this at his press conference on Sunday. "It is what it is. Wins get you into the next round. I did what I had to do to cross the start-finish line first. As far as good for the sport, I heard we were trending #1 on Twitter right now. People must be viewing it right now, so that's good." But Austin Dillon's victory at Richmond has spurred some fascinating discussions among NASCAR fans, drivers, and media. NASCAR insiders Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi of The Athletic also addressed Dillon's win, and if NASCAR will remove it from him after he crashed Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin. "I believe they said the finish is under review, and then they said Austin Dillon is the race winner," Gluck said. "Therefore, there was no penalty, there was no rough driving penalty, therefore he keeps the win. No matter what happens going forward, I think if I'm not mistaken, Austin Dillon will keep the win. They could come out on Tuesday and have some sort of a penalty, but the win is not in question." Bianchi feels NASCAR might take Dillon's victory away. Elton Sawyer said they were going to look at it, he said. "My interpretation is that they wouldn't take away the win, that's not customarily what they would do. But I wouldn't completely rule it out. I would be surprised." Bianchi went on to say that Sawyer said that NASCAR is going to review everything and look at everything. He added, "So if they're going to go and look at everything and piece everything together as they say," and he didn't definitely say the win his is, he's in the playoffs, that to me opens it up saying, hey, we don't know yet. Before the race, Dillon was 32nd in points and had little chance of making the playoffs. However, with the win, Dillon has secured a playoff place and is currently ranked 13th in the rankings. "I've seen Denny and Joey make moves that have been running people up the track to win," Dillon stated in his post-race press conference. "This is the first opportunity in 2 years for me to be able to get a win. I drove in there and kept all 4 tires turning across the start-finish line." To me, I've seen a lot of stuff over the years in NASCAR where people move people. It's just part of our sport. You know what I mean? Remember when Joey said short track racing? He knows what it was. In your shoes, what would you do? Dillon might see it that way, but according to Jeff Gluck of The Athletic, Austin Dillon may soon face NASCAR punishment for intentionally putting Denny Hamlin into the wall as the two approach the start-finish line, rather than slamming into Joey Logano on the final lap of Sunday's Cookout 400 at Richmond Raceway. The crucial word there is could, as NASCAR's senior vice president of competition, Elton Sawyer, stated that the sanctioning body would make a decision on Tuesday. Gluck, however, does not believe NASCAR will suspend Dillon. Gluck anticipated that because Dillon's right rear hook of Hamlin was not in retribution, NASCAR will escape harsh penalties against Dillon. "We've been told right rear hooking somebody gets you a suspension," Gluck said Sunday. "Well, I don't think... Look, you guys have been very mad at me for some of my predictions recently, when I've said how I think NASCAR will penalize stuff. I really don't think they're gonna suspend Austin Dillon for right rear hooking somebody. Here's how I think NASCAR will distinguish the difference. NASCAR will say that a right rear hook in retaliation is where people get suspended. A right rear hook, as he did to Hamlin to put him in the wall for the win, they will say that's different, and they won't suspend him. Because here's the problem, NASCAR has now put themselves in a giant box. They cannot let someone have a win without a rough driving penalty, and then suspend the person for that very action. You just can't. Those two things don't go together. There's no logical sense where you can justify those things. You could either take away the win and issue a 2-lap rough driving penalty, which to me actually would have been consistent where that would have put Austin Dillon 26th place. You would have said, okay, that was crossing the line, that was too far. 2-lap penalty, retroactive to the end of the race, now you go to 26th. And we award it the win to second place, who in this case was Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin claims Austin Dillon's accidents at Richmond were beyond the line. Dillon had everything to gain by eliminating Logano and Hamlin. He started Sunday's race 32nd in the point standings, far from playoff contention. However, Dillon has advanced to the postseason. He will be part of the 16-driver field unless NASCAR decides to take his win away. As you could expect, Logano and Hamlin were dissatisfied with the outcome. Hamlin feels Dillon crossed the line and should be dealt with appropriately by NASCAR. In a major sport, because we like to put ourselves in an upper echelon of sports in the world, you have officiating for a reason, Hamlin said on Monday's Actions Detrimental podcast. I just don't know why we've allowed it to get this bad over time, and I believe you have a responsibility as a sanctioning body to set an example not only for your competitors, but the people coming through the ranks to say, this is how we professionally race. This is how racing goes. Let me ask a question. If this is not over the line, then what is over the line? He did not try to make a corner. He just drove until he wrecked him, Logano. Kept going until he wrecked him. Absolutely, a line was crossed, but it's an invisible line, Hamlin said. It's not defined. I mean, they have rules and provisions for stuff like this, but they never take action for it. What happens is you see young guys coming up in the short track ranks seeing that, and they think it's fine. That's why we see some of the lower series turn out the way they do in these green-white checkered situations, because some of the best that they're seeing on Sunday do stuff like that. I mean, who am I to throw stones in a glass house? But I certainly never won one that way. Logano said, it's chicken shit. There's no doubt about it. He is 4 car lengths back, not even close. Then he wrecks the 11 to go along with it. Then he's going to go up there and thank God and praise everything with his baby. It's a bunch of BS. It's not even freaking close. Dude, I get it, bump and run. I get it. I didn't back up the corner at all. He came in there and just drove through me. It's ridiculous that that's the way we race. Unbelievable. I get bump and runs. I do that. I would expect it. But from 4 car lengths back, he was never going to make the corner. Then he wrecks the other car, wrecks the 11 to go with it. What a piece of crap. What are your thoughts on what happened? Should NASCAR penalize Austin Dillon for what happened last Sunday? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.